Oh, hey guys. Been missing for 3 weeks. By the time you see this video, it'll probably be the 4th week. Dirty windshield, can't do anything about it. It is that time of year. Today's June 1st, so I mean, it's just that time of year. But it's also pretty good overcast because of all the storms brewing up. I just spent 2 days coming out of, well, technically the border of Idaho and Washington, going into Montana, damn near through the house where it was just raining. Woke up to some rain this morning, so I spent pretty much 2 days just rained on. Not that I care, but with it being supposed to be 80 degrees today, so this is overcast. It's already like 70. It's pretty good. It might rain on me while I make this video. I do got an air leak that I'm actually currently en route to go fix because I can't do anything about it. So if you hear the hissing, that's you know, that's the seeping noise, the hissing noise from the valves. Let me know I have a problem, which, well aware of it. Kind of sucks when your airline holder, your little hanger, decides to just randomly break because it's plastic and just over time rub a hole in the hose. I noticed when I got about a couple hours from the house, I was like, compressor's kicking on and off a lot, because it wasn't going through the valve a lot yet, but I was like, compressor's kicking on and off quite a bit here. Parked the truck at home to drop the woman off because that's why I've been missing. She's been in the truck for 3 weeks, and the reefer's running because it's like, what was it, like 77, and I got -10 load, right? And it's humid, so because it's been raining, so the reefer's gonna kick on more. But I thought I heard an air leak from underneath the reefer, and it is sometimes hard to pinpoint a leak or a noise, or it'll sound like another noise when you got, AP running, a reefer running, then you got all the background noise and ambient noise around you. It wasn't until I walked to the other side, shocker, I don't just check for a leak on one side of the truck, right? That's when I think I hear a leak. But walked to the other side, and my other ear thought it heard something towards the back of the trailer, and as I start walking away from the reefer, I just hear air dumping, and I was like, oh boy. I immediately found it. I noticed I was crawling underneath the trailer. I noticed a broken hanger, and I grabbed the hose on the broken side, moved it around, and I was like, yep, this one's leaking. It's just the noise is changing in system 1. But some decently entertaining stuff has happened the last 3 weeks. I mean, the first week I ran off exhaustion because I had on 300 extra miles because I had to go down to Denver and then go up to the house, pick up the woman up, then go over to Portland. And well, the outside when you go down to Denver, I don't usually get to go through the house that way, but I didn't have Boise, which helped, because if I had Boise at my normal time, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, the house was never going to happen to pick her up. I'd have to be on the way back, but I didn't have to be no Boise, so all I had was Portland at 2:30 in the morning the day after that. So, which Boise's Wednesdays to Thursday 2:30, whatever. But AirDoc's doing amazing. I can't wait to get all the other fucking issues on this truck fixed. I have proof that, there's always going to be some swing just due to that 1 month. 1 month is just pretty short, when it comes to average. But, whoa, stay in your fucking lane. This car just passed me, drifted into my lane beside me. did that shit on the zipper, but as he was halfway up me. But 0.8 is what I finished May with the air dog. 0.8 difference. From 6.4 to what is that, 7.3? No, 7.2. It was 1 mpg 3 weeks into May, but the last week, a lot of storms brewed in it. Like I said, 1 month average, you can easily, 1 week can easily change it by a lot. So, not bad for Grand. I'll probably post the results in my Discord, which is, as you can join my Discord. It's the underscore handies URL, permanent URL. So, I mean, it's small. We got a few people, but it's small. If you join, post in there, we will definitely respond. Just not always busy yet. Just got to grow it slowly. But that's good, because that only cost me $1,000. But however, though, gotta love plastic and rubber. But last week I'm going towards Denver, getting ready to drop the woman off. Right, I get into, what the fuck was that? Oh, I pulled in an Alta to fill up, right? And which, that's something else I'm gonna say. Well, I'll get back to that. TA, right? And I pop my hood like I always do. Every time I get fuel, I pop my hood, right? Because it's pretty much mid-trip, whatever. I pop my hood. I like to, every time I get fuel, I like to have a visual, hands-on thing, pretty much. Put my eyeballs and my hands on shit. And I noticed I have a stream of fuel coming out of the Volvo plastic quick disconnect fittings, and I'm like, oh boy. And it's a stream, it's not a drip. It's like a, you turn the faucet on, but like one notch above the drip, so it's like a very thin pencil, just line of fuel, and it's just dumping. And I'm like, wow, that ain't good. Walk into the TA, and I asked if they got an open pit. They're like, oh yeah, we do, but it's Memorial Day too, which kind of sucks, right? It's Memorial Day weekend, so I think this was Sunday. Yeah, this would have been Sunday. So even next day I couldn't get shit anyways, right? And they pulled me over the pit, and I knew right away that I was not gonna get help here, but because this older guy comes over to me, and I always get out and I always tell the mechanic directly what the problem is, because I don't rely on the service advisor. And he's like, okay. He goes underneath the pit, comes back out, and he's like, you're not leaking there. And I pointed to the problem, because, like, I knew what the leak was. I found it in the fuel aisle, and I pointed to him, and he goes underneath the pit, comes back out, he's like, you're not leaking there. I'm like, yeah, I saw it in the fuel aisle. I know I'm leaking there. He's like, no, you're not. Fuel can't travel up, up against gravity. Can't travel up hills. No leaks can travel uphill. I'm like, no, it's hitting that. That's not. He's like, no, it's not. I'm like, all right. He's like, you know what? Come with me into the pit. And we're in the pit. And normally I'm pretty, I don't really insult or cuss at people. I don't do character attacks or insults or anything. Right? I don't do that shit. I may get frustrated, but I never make it personal. So it's even rare that I will cuss in general when it comes talking to, when I have to be professional, right? And this guy points towards my oil lines, and I'm like, that's an oil line. They can't leak fuel. And this is the oil trans lines, right? I was like, I already know that's leaking, but that's going to be fixed anyways. But I can't leak fuel, but that's seeping oil, but it's going to be fixed when this truck goes into the shop, a month and a half from now, right? Because there's all kinds of work, and the transmission needs to be out of the way. So that's going to be fixed. See, then again, that cannot leak fuel. And I'm like, dude, the fuel's right here, or the leak's right here. And by the way, when I'm over the pit, it's literally dripping, right? It's literally dripping. And I point out, I can see the fucking leak right here. It's leaking right fucking now. And I point up, and not to mention, the truck was off. It was still dripping with the truck off, right? So because it hadn't returned, that's a return line. It hadn't returned all the fuel to the tanks yet. He's like, "Oh, you're right. Which, honestly, right then and there, I should have just pulled out of the bay. I should have been like, nope, I'm not gonna let this guy touch my truck. But so unbeknown to me at this point, okay, truck's been off, right? He got back to my shutoff valves on the fuel tank, right, on the passenger side. I turned them off. He didn't tell me this. They were not noted. None of this was noted. They're not in on my Volvo. They're not in the easy to see from walking around the truck, because they're between the frame rail and the fuel tank. I also got the steps, the Volvo steps, the built-in steps that match the truck, right? So they're kind of blocked. I can't see them from walking around the truck. I have no eyesight on them. He shut them up, which that's going to come back later. So he takes everything apart. He says, I don't have parts for this. I don't have some of the plastic quick connects, the little tabs on the side are snapped off just from vibrations going down the road and all that, getting old and all that. Which, this truck's old, a little long too. So a lot of that shit's original, right? These also, like, these O-rings are probably worn out, but I don't have these O-rings, so he's like, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna like zip tie it together, clamp it to try to make it more firm fit. Well, come to find out, I left there, right, and my fuel leak now is worse. It ended up, he took up whatever he did. I don't know. He must have really destroyed the O-rings when he put it back together, because it went from, I don't know how, when I pulled into the shop that it was a stream, to now just back to dripping. Which a drip I could deal with, right? Because like all this shit I can fix. I just gotta wait for shit to open, right? I can deal with drip for a couple of days. Technically, it's out of service, but I ain't shutting it down for a day and a half because it's mid-Sunday, right? So it'd be in the day and a half, Tuesday morning, for fucking rubber O-rings. Not to mention I'm going to Denver. I got some time coming out of Denver, because my appointment in Boise is until Wednesday 1800. So I was like, I can get it fixed in Denver. Which, I'm getting ahead of myself, but he ended up zip tying it all together, putting like hose clamps on it, and it made it worse. So I'm thinking when he took everything apart, he pinched some O-rings again, like got a pinch, rolled them up, twisted them up, whatever, and it made it worse. So now I get rolling, and it's 400 miles from pretty much TA to Denver, right? So I get down there, and on the way, I get going down there, and on the way I'm like, man, I am fucking drinking fuel, like chugging fuel. I don't even get halfway, and my truck says I've already burned 50 gallons. I'm like, so I know, like, I was like, there's no way that leak is that bad now. Like, I'm looking in the mirror, I'm not seeing any wetness on the road. Right? It's dry as fuck. There ain't no fucking, no street. Like, if I'm losing that much fuel, I'd see a trail underneath me. Like, if anybody's had a fuel, like a leak period, it's been that bad, you'd see the leaking, like the trail, it's fucking, the tail behind you down the road. And I'm not seeing that. I'm like, and I get about an hour and a half away from Denver now, so I drove another 100 miles, and I'm still drinking fuel. And I'm like, I gotta pee. So I pull over, pop the hood, and it was 3 leaks now. I'm like, well, okay, I know there's 2 leaks. I can see 2. I think there's 3, but it's kind of hard to tell because of all the zip ties. It could just be deflecting, right? So I know I can confirm 2, possibly 3. But I walk around to the truck on both sides, and now I actually poke my head to get up over the steps. And I noticed the shutoff valves. And I'm tired though, because I'm already behind schedule, really behind schedule now. For some reason, I was in that shop for fucking 7 hours. Don't ask me why. Okay. I did end up, while they were twiddling their thumbs with the fuel thing, I ended up having another guy replace my coolant heater hoses, because remember I said I had that coolant leak. Well, that got a little worse too, so I ended up just replacing it, because I was already there for 4 hours. Like, you know what, let me just go and replace these coolant hoses too while I'm here, because I don't know why the fuck it's taking so long. So might as well just be kill two birds with one stone, even though I didn't want to do that yet. But I'm tired of throwing out like so much coolant every week. I was about 2 weeks away from having all coolant hoses underneath the truck or underneath the hood replaced. Anyways, that's what I was trying to wait on. But that clamp was starting to dig in more and more and more, and I was like, I can't wait on parts anymore. Because I've been waiting on parts. That's what I've been waiting on. So, now I've noticed. Okay, I'm tired. I'm behind schedule. I'm behind. I got a late start Saturday, right, with this load. So I've been behind all weekend, and it's Monday, and it's like I was projecting to be in Denver at like 1400, and it's now like 2000. So I'm way behind, and my appointment is like 3 o'clock in the morning, right? So like I'm only gonna get a nap in before my appointment, anyways, right? And I'm still like an hour and a half from Denver at this point. So I'm not going to get to Denver till like 2130, 2200, right? So I have my eyeballs now looking at the fuel shutoff valves. And my brain, okay, if I was rested, not behind schedule, trying to make up time, you know, like they were sideways. They were turned horizontal against the lines. Which those who know what I'm fucking getting at, okay? So that pretty much means my passenger tank wasn't being used. But I don't know why I forgot. Like, I don't know. That's crazy how like tiredness does to the body. I always know the fucking handle should be in line with the hose, in line with the flow. Always in line with the flow. And then I forgot the golden rule for some reason. I'm gonna guess tiredness, whatever. I laughed at myself later. But to be fair to myself here, though, so I got to Denver, okay? And I'm like, man, I need to get this fuel leak fixed. Because here I am still thinking I'm losing I did end up losing an extra 30 gallons of fuel from 400 miles. So that is a pretty good leak. It is a pretty good leak. But the story still gets better, okay? I got it done in Denver by 5 a.m. Nothing's open. I find a shop. Ended up using Schroeder's over there off 76. Good shop. I'll use them again. Although that was a little fiasco there a little bit, but they made it right. I get there. I made no appointment. They pulled me right in. Because to be fair, it wasn't an easy fix. They pulled me in at set. I got there. They came in at 7. I was pulled into the bay by 7:30. The guy has the fittings off. Found the problem in the O-rings. He says I am leaking in 3 spots, which all 3 O-rings just were destroyed. Which, thanks TA. Because I went in there with 1 leak and I left there with 3 leaks. So thanks TA. I was willing to use that TA. He's like, and it's like 9:30 at this point. He's like, we're gonna send a guy. We have a parts runner, so they don't charge for parts. So they have a guy that they employ to go out and grab parts. So they pay for it. Yeah, so that's good to know. Because Denver's huge. Depending on where you got to go in Denver, that could be some pretty good pennies you got to pay. You know, especially the guys that make multiple runs. He's like, we're gonna send out the parts guy, and I'm like, so should I be out running by noon? He's like, yep, should be. I'm like, okay. And I was planning on noon anyways. I'm like, this is easy fix, just fucking O-rings that they don't have. They're gonna replace the fittings anyways. So cool, right? Cool. Well, they ended up taking 5 hours to get the parts, and being told 4 different times they were going to get the parts. And on the 3rd time, it's like 1:30 and they're asking like, yo, what's going on? And they went on lunch around noon, right? So like that I can understand, right? But he's like, and the service guy literally tells me, he's like, I don't know what's going on. These guys have told me 3 times, meaning that they're shop guys, right? Their parts department, that they're going to get parts and then nothing happens. And I go, well, I already assumed they were gonna do something, right? to like make it right. And I just kind of confirm. I'm like, so I'm assuming you guys are gonna do something kind of like for me, right? Just do something for me here for the build. And the guy that goes, yeah, I'll talk to the boss, and we'll definitely make it right. I'm like, okay, because they didn't get the parts back to like, because 1430 was my last check-in. Like, what the fuck was the parts, right? The parts got back around 1500, and it's only 15 minutes away. If I didn't know it was gonna take so long, in hindsight, I was also kind of tired too. In hindsight, I would have just taken a fucking Uber and gone it myself. The only reason why I was in the shop because it's hard to reach spot. Okay, I don't have a pit and I don't have a fucking lift or ramps or anything. Okay, not out here on the go, right? It is a shitty spot. It's pretty like when the guy took it off, which I'm not blaming for this. Like a lot of this shit's original, but when he took it off, just wrenched and kind of like wiggling off, his hand slipped forward and busted an airline off a fitting, which tells me that fitting was kind of old. Which, sure, whatever. But that tells you how cramped it was, down there. I mean, kind of sucks, but whatever. $75 a fitting, so it's always nice. But yeah. What did they end up doing? So they gave me a free grease job on the fifth wheel, which they didn't charge for any labor outside that fuel fitting, or the fuel fittings. It's like that airline, they didn't charge anything for it except the fitting, which understandable, right? Like I'm not sure I could ask for a lot more, but no, because waiting fucking 5 hours for parts for fucking is ridiculous, especially when you've been told 4 times you're getting parts. The guy he didn't charge me for a can of brake cleaner to clean it all up. Ooh, somebody's about to get popoed over, maybe? Nope. I bet you that fucking trooper made that trucker nervous getting right behind him, but now he wanted that ramp. But so the brake cleaner is like $12 a can, right? $10 to $12 a can. They used about a full can of that, cleaning it all up, wiping it all down. Didn't charge me for any of that. As a matter of fact, their labor rate's like, it is $165. They bumped it down to $125 for 3 hours of labor, so I saved $150, right? So they ended up making it right. And honestly, I'm just gonna say, I don't know. Maybe it was just a fucking holiday hungover or whatever. I don't know. It's not, if you make a mistake, it's not about the mistake you make, it's what you do to make up for it, right? And your customer service afterwards. And to be fair, they made up for it, right? They gave me pretty much about $175 of fucking free work, right? So the only downside is we were allowed to hang out in the truck, but couldn't use the APU on. It was fucking 80 degrees in Denver, so it got a little toasty in the truck, a little bit. But here's the fun part. They didn't know the shut-off valves either. But then again, I told them I had a fuel leak. I told them I was burning fuel. Alright. I don't know why they would take I didn't even know at this point the shut-off valves. Like, I saw it, but my brain didn't register it, right? To be fair, I didn't even open the fuel tank too. But so I leave there. I'm behind schedule right now, 1700, way behind schedule. I was planning on going home and possibly sleep in the house. That was my plan, honestly. If I got out of Denver midday, because it's from my house to Boise, which I did have Boise, but at 1800, it's only 11 hours. I could have left like 3 o'clock in the morning the next day and just been fine. It didn't happen. But I got up to Laramie, and it says I got 34 gallons of fuel left in the truck, and I'm like, man, there's something going on here. And I'm like, who knows? Maybe there's a lot of air in the system that's bleeding through. I was like, I'm far enough away from Denver. This should have been worked through. And so I stopped at the petrol Laramie. I fill up. The driver's side tank takes 94 gallons, 93 gallons, and a 100-gallon tank. I'm like, that thing was dry. Yeah, but see, here's why, like, kind of funny the brain works. My pickup tubes on the passenger side tank. My fuel gauge rod is on the driver's side tank. First, I still don't understand how, because like I said, I understand the basics, but like, how the fuck am my engine getting fuel for when all my pickup tubes are in the passenger side tank? But I did put no fuel in and then this is when I found out there was no fuel went into the primary tank, my passenger tank. My passenger tank is full. How am I putting fuel, or picking up fuel from the passenger tank, going through the engine, but it's not equalizing? Is there a pickup tube in the driver's side tank? Not that I'm aware on my end. And, well, I also had to make up some time. So I was like, you know what? I'm not sure why this is not equalizing. I still hadn't realized that my fucking fuel shut-off valves were closed to at this point. Even though I knew they were horizontal now at this point. They were not in line with the line, right? It wasn't until I got to Boise the next day, right? I parked, because I was like, I need to do laundry anyways. I was like, I'll just deal with this tomorrow when I have more time. I'm not in a rush. I gotta do a Walmart order anyways. I had to do that laundry. I'll look at it then. Because I'm tired of a shop. I'm tired of fucking staying in a shop at this point. Like, I'll fucking look at it myself. Get to Boise, started at Mr. Gas, which I guess on the run now. I don't know. They opened at Mr. Gas. I don't know what the fuck happened there, but I call it still Mr. Gas. What was that? Exit 58 or some shit. 59. 57, 58, something like that in Boise. So I get the clothes in the laundry, you know, in the washer. I come back out of the truck, and I Google. I'm like, shut-off valve. Which direction should it be? And I was like, all right. This is when I get reminded. It should be in flow with the line. I felt like the biggest dumbass in that moment. I was like, how the fuck did I forget this? So easy fix. So I got Nova air leak. Fucking shut-off valve, which you can tell those things don't get used very often. They were, wow. Part of it is I couldn't get leverage, right? Because I got the steps. I had to be on my hands and knees on the step catwalks, reaching down between the frame rail. Thank God I got skinny ass arms. Well, I'm skinny in general. Reach down between that. Should have done the bottom one first. I did the top one first like an idiot, but whatever. It took a long time to get close. It's even getting close to being equal. Because I went from Laramie to Boise at this point on still the one tank. But whatever. That was fun. Lesson learned. But I did end up calling Volvo though and ordering a fuel leveling gauge, a leveling rod, a fuel level rod, not leveling. I keep calling it leveling. I've been doing that to a girlfriend for days. That was $280. Because I think it stinks anyways. Because this truck likes to get hung up on full for like 50 gallons, and all of a sudden it comes flying down. So I think it's kind of getting old anyways. Which this truck's got 738,000 miles now, right? So this truck, it's a good truck, right? Seen some things. I did end up making a list. And actually putting it, like, well, I guess pen to paper, even though it was words on screen, right? Of what the truck needs. And it's 30, right now, well, if I add on to trailer shit, it's about 32. Truck shit is 29.8. But there's going to be a new reefer tank being put on the reefer. I'm gonna get a alignment on the trailer. That's just like $300. Yeah. There's a couple other things that are missing there. Like there's gonna be alignment on the truck. I'm gonna get new steers on the truck because I am replacing the whole front end. Just gonna get that out of the way, and that alone is about $4,400. Replacing the whole front end on the truck. So. I'm kind of nervous to spend 30 grand, right? But kind of excited at the same time. I'm hoping there's no hidden surprises. I'm anticipating it, but I'm hoping. Well, you'll see. But I did find out though. When I put my hands physically on the the shutoff valves for the fuel tank on the passenger side tank. I got a real good look at my carrier bearing. Yeah, it's time to get that replaced. That thing's starting to definitely be past its expiration date. So that's being added onto the list, which I ordered that actually. That will be showing up to the house this week. So there's going to be a lot of work being done on this truck. And honestly, by the time it's done, it's probably going to be closer to 35 by the time it's done. And there'll still be more work. Like, I don't have a working bunk heater on this truck, which, whatever. I was just using the space heater, but that thing's so rough on the APU. I'm still going to keep the space heater as a backup, but I'm going to probably just buy a new bunk heater. I'm going to just keep this thing as a spare and take it home and just clean it. You know, take it apart and rebuild it and clean it. Because I'm pretty sure this one's just fucking filthy as fuck. And I mean, there's things like that, which you're gonna have to get a new inverter, do auto chains on the truck, right? I'm gonna buy a box for the catwalk, for in-frame box for the catwalk, right? Get the chains out of my side box. That will help open up a lot of actually help quite a bit with lack of space, because those chains take up quite a bit of space. Especially since I got the bench in the Volvo. I don't have the bed. I have the bench set up. So that takes up quite a bit of space because there's a giant square in the middle of the truck that I don't have for side box space, right? Can't just lift it up. I can't lift up my bed and have a whole giant space there for storage. Kind of, if I did, I mean, I wouldn't have this problem. Downside is now it's just the amount of fuel I'm going to be burning, because when it comes time to put the truck in the shop, I'm splitting it up into two different shops, okay? Because like the shop in Chicago can't do alignments, so I think I'm going to do the front end work over in Boise before I haven't decided before. Well, I'll probably go home first, then go over to Boise, because I got to get the cat out of the truck. I'm probably going to be in a hotel for 2 days, right? So I'll probably do that, right? Which is fine. So I'll probably just drop. I still got to bring the trailer. So I'll probably end up dropping the trailer off on the way going home into Boise. We'll let them just have fun with that, and then just bobtail. Because like I said, I'm getting a new reefer tank too. Probably I'm going from 35 gallons to probably 75 gallons. At least 50, probably 75. These fuel costs, plus the way these loads are, and the way Seattle, the West Coast and Northeast, it just sucks for fuel, and I don't want to fill ever at those prices. And I'm tired of spending $100 pretty much on fuel to top it off going into the weekend. I did the math. I'm doing, because of my fuel gauge is working on the reefer tank, which is fine, right? I already knew I was getting rid of this reefer tank anyways. But I've had this trailer since Halloween. First week of November. This fucking fuel gauge is off. It's a 35 gallon tank, so it's kind of tiny anyways. I mean, I've kind of learned this reefer tank anyways, so it's like the fuel gauge isn't too critical, but once it uses about 16-18 gallons, it's on F or E. I mean, it's on E. It shows E. So I don't really know how much fuel is actually there, but the most I ever put in this trailer was 22 gallons, but that was also winter time. Now it's not real summertime yet, but so I'm probably drop that trailer off, bobtail home, offload the truck, prepare it, probably pick the woman up, go back to Boise, and go into a hotel there for a couple of days, then turn around, go all the way to Chicago for probably 3-4 days. And I know the big question is, why the fuck do you just why are you doing that? Why don't you just get the work done in town? Because my town's about 50 to $60 more an hour per labor. The trip, Boise's 700 miles away from my house. Chicago's 1,000 miles away. I will save money. I'll save money doing that by a lot. And not to mention, Boise's on my route. So if I have their warranty, the warranty of the work. So if I have an issue, it's warranted. That's also that one's right there. I'm usually going to my house on the weekends. So that means if I got to get warranty work done there at the shop, I can't do anything on the weekend. I have guaranteed downtime. So the Boise one actually is a multifaceted, thing there. Chicago, all he does is work on Volvos. It's highly recommended. Since he's what I would call a specialty shops, right? Volvos to Max, all he works on, right? If the book calls for 4 hours, he can probably get it done in 2 to 3 hours because all he does. That's literally all he does. So I can save money there because he charges by the hour, not really by the book. And he's fair. Unlike last June when he replaced all my suspension stuff, my shocks and airbag, one shock wouldn't come off. He took out a grinder, took out a torch, took out, I believe, a Sawzall too. Didn't charge for any of that. Even though it took like an extra hour, an hour and a half, 2 hours of work, he didn't charge me for it because I'm honest, I don't know. I just think he's known for being fair and reasonable. And it was just one bolt. I think that's part of it because it's like, well, it's just fucking one bolt. What the fuck? Yeah, one bolt was all that issue. But 36 fucking minutes. We are back to making videos though. So you guys have fun. Catch you next time. Bye.